Okay, so what is aware of your thoughts? That is the question. So, number one, let's just take a look at the words that are in the question that have been used so that we can answer the question precisely and find out what the questioner or the question is seeking in terms of an answer. So, the first words are right now, which means time, not in the future or in the past, but right now. Whatever time you're watching this video and where I am right now, it is always now. It will always be now. So, right now, what is aware? What is seeking a thing? So, something is aware of your thoughts. So, you have thoughts, and the questioner is asking, what is it that is aware of these thoughts? So the assumption is that there is something that is aware of your thoughts, and the seeker or the questioner is seeking to know what is that thing which is aware of your thoughts. I'm using these words purposely and we're going to dismantle it. What is aware of your thoughts? The seeker is seeking a thing. Something is aware. Something must be aware of your thoughts if there is awareness. We're going to dismantle all these words. We are bound by language, and we can free ourselves when we understand language as well. That's why we say on this channel, we define terms clearly. Don't just throw words like awareness or consciousness and emptiness and nothingness and do not examine them, in depth. Know the meaning of every single word, because that's all we have if we are going to be talking to each other. If you're going to be listening or I'm going to be talking, I need to be very precise with the words that I use. You've got to understand the words for what they are. So that's why I always try to be precise. Pick the words, find out what they are seeking. Okay, so right now, what is aware of your thoughts? The questioner seeks that there is something aware of your thoughts and wants to know what that is. Now, this is a Nididhyasana video, so what we're going to do is we're going to get into experiential awareness. Get into the state where you have no thoughts or let thoughts come in, but you're abiding in and as awareness, consciousness, nothingness, emptiness, whatever you want to call it. But I'm sure, because this is a channel for serious seekers, you would easily be able to get into that state. And so let's get into this straight away and answer this question while we're inquiring in the state of awareness or consciousness. So close your eyes. Number one, if you just close your eyes and relax, you may find thoughts still appearing. Things that you may want to do, have done, need to do. Unfinished business. You may or may not have that. If you have been doing meditation, then getting into a thoughtless state is really very simple and almost immediate. So, right now, when you're just aware, there is nothing to be aware of. So you have a blank mind. There is no image. There is no voice in the head. And you might be even waiting for what next. There is no next. The question is right now. So nothing in the future. If you're in the state of awareness, you'll find that this awareness silence gradually, as your attention is put on it, becomes more and more spacious. It expands. If you're still having thoughts appearing in your mind, a very quick technique to stop them: become aware, alert, awake, and aware of what your next thought is going to be. What is your next thought going to be? When you become conscious of your thoughts, they stop appearing. At that point, you can consciously think of things, but the random thoughts that appear on their own will stop if you become aware of your thoughts. If you become aware of what is my next thought going to be. So, there's this spacious nothingness, emptiness, awareness, consciousness, whatever we call it. There is no thought in the mind right now. And you realize awareness still is without any thoughts. It has always been. It is, will always be. It has no sense of time here. There is no before, now, or after. It just is. The now is in the mind. The before and after are also in the mind. They are in thoughts. So right now, awareness just is. And if you have no thoughts, so awareness is just on its own as it is, untouched, absolute. Now, if you stop being aware of what your next thought is going to be, just relax as awareness or consciousness. You'll find now thoughts may start to appear. And let me guide so that we're both on the same page. So you may have different thoughts, I may have different thoughts, but let's consciously bring in thoughts. So you're relaxing as awareness. You're not being aware of what your next thought is going to be, but we're going to consciously think. So I want you to visualize the both of us together in a coffee shop. I'm just giving an example. Your favorite coffee shop, cafe. We're both at a table there. The waiter or the waitress comes and takes our order. We can be chit-chatting. And in some time, our coffee arrives. The waiter or the waitress brings it, puts it on the table. You can smell your coffee. You can see the steam coming out of the cup. We can continue chatting, talking. Could be about philosophy, just general talk about life, how your day went. In the meantime, we forget to sip the coffee. We're so engrossed in the talk that by the time we lift the cup and sip the coffee, it's warm now. It was hot when it came, steaming, but it's now just lukewarm. Now we have the same thoughts in the mind. Now let's answer the question. What is aware of your thoughts? So we were in a state of awareness, and then we brought in conscious thoughts. And awareness was aware of those thoughts. So awareness is aware of the thoughts. Not only that, they arose, or we consciously brought them to the forefront. And now they subside. Now let's take a look at this little story. I just made it up, so I'll try to cover everything that we can in this. So, conscious thoughts. What thoughts did we have? Number one, we were in a cafe, seated at a table. The waitress came, took the order. We had some conversation. The waitress brought our coffee, steaming hot. We could smell it. We carried on chatting, engrossed. And after some time, when we sipped the coffee, it was now lukewarm. Now let's take a look at these things that we saw in our thoughts. I want you to understand that everything in the thoughts was a thing. The cafe is a thing. The table is a thing. You and I, the bodies that we have, are things. The waitress was another object to us, a thing. The body of the waitress is a thing. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but the body is an object in our awareness. The cup of coffee is a thing, an object. The steam is an object. Our conversation and the words that we used, subtle mental objects. And then we sipped the coffee. We could smell the coffee. We sipped the coffee. And because time had passed, it was lukewarm. All these things are things. So if we ask, what did the waitress bring? She brought coffee. What did we talk about? General life. What was the place we were in? Cafe. What were we doing there? Seated, having a conversation. So you see, the question what denotes that there must be a thing. So what? Answer this or that. So what was the coffee like? It was nice. The coffee, the object, the thing, the coffee was nice. It smelled good. So what is a thing? Now come back to the question, what is aware of your thoughts? Is awareness like one of those objects? Is awareness one of those objects? No. Awareness is not a what. It is not a this or that. Awareness is that in which this and that appear. Awareness is that in which all objects appear. Awareness is that in which things appear. Awareness is that in which all whats arise. It itself is not a what. So the questioner asking, what is aware of your thoughts? Awareness is not a thought, is not a what. And we'll take a look at this in the next question. You'll find that what is a thought? And how does it appear in awareness? And how is awareness being able to accommodate all these things and thoughts and whats? So to answer the question, right now, in awareness, it's always now. And if it's always now, we can't call it now. So it just is. So awareness, right now, awareness contains all the whats. It itself is not a what. It's not a this or a that. So what is aware of the thoughts? That in which all things appear. That's why we use the word that. We can't say this or that inside. We can't say what it is, because any word has to arise within awareness. Anything has to arise within awareness. Any thought has to arise within awareness. Awareness is not an object. It is the subject to all the whats that arise and subside. Not only in your mind, but in the physical world as well. So you can slowly open your eyes. So, because this is a Nididhyasana video, here we're stabilizing awareness. We are stabilizing the teachings of non-duality, advaita Vedanta, self-realization. We are stabilizing in those teachings, making it a living reality, not just intellectual knowledge, but at the same time answering the questions so that the mind gets clarity. Now, if the mind is told consciousness, awareness is not a what. So we can't answer what. The question is wrong. It is that which contains all the whats. It's like the ocean. The ocean contains all the waves. The ocean that contains all the waves is not another kind of wave. The awareness that is aware of all the thoughts is not another kind of thought. The awareness that is aware of all the things is not another kind of thing. In fact, it is not a thing. The ocean is not a wave. Awareness is not a thought. So, let's answer this very in straight terms. Right now, what is aware of your thoughts? That. Now, when we say that, and we don't say what, that means everything or nothing. So awareness, we're using these words: awareness, consciousness, emptiness, nothingness. Let's take a look at why the suffix is used. The suffix ness, you find that all the non-dual terms, they will either use the suffix less or ness. Nameless, formless. Nothingness, awareness, consciousness. Emptiness. What is the point of using the suffix ness? Why don't we just say nothing? Why don't we just say aware or conscious or form or name? Let's take a look at this. It's very important. If you understand this, you'll understand the word awareness. You'll understand the word consciousness, nothingness, emptiness. Let's dive into this. It's just come up, so I think it's important. Aware, to be aware, is a function of the mind. To be conscious is a function again of the mind. You can only be aware of something. You can only be aware of. You can only be conscious of. If you're conscious, then you're conscious of. If you're aware, then you're aware of. So why the suffix ness? When you add the suffix ness to a word, it means the quality of that word without the word itself. I'll give you an example. The appleness. If we have an apple and we say the appleness is so sweet, smells so sweet. The appleness of this or that. It means the quality of being an apple without the apple. We have an apple and then we have the appleness. The quality of being an apple without the apple. Let's say so this is Sukdev. Now this has a certain kind of personality. People know him in a certain kind of way. Now, if I did something and they said, Sukhdev is not in that. Doesn't look like him. The Sukdevness is missing. What they mean is the quality is missing. Yet, this might be there doing that particular thing. Let's bring this to awareness, consciousness, nothingness. So, nothing with a ness means the quality of being nothing without the nothing. So here is nothing, and then the quality of being nothing, the essence of being nothing, without the nothing, nothingness. The quality of being empty without something being empty. The quality of being aware or conscious without being aware or being conscious of something. Just awareness, consciousness, nothingness. It's the fragrance, the perfume. You can't, it's intangible. You can't touch it. Yet it gives the quality of that particular thing. So awareness is not an object. It's not a what. It's not a this or a that. It just is. All right, let's take a look at what the next question is. Okay, so does awareness have a location or boundary? So let's take a look at the question. Does awareness have, that means it would have something apart from it. I have a mic. It's me and the mic. I have a beard. There's me and the beard. So I have a shirt. There's me and then the shirt. So does awareness have a location or boundary? So does it have a particular place where it is? That's a location. Or does it have a boundary? Does it have an edge? Does it have a shape? Does it have a size or a form? Does it have an edge somewhere, a boundary? So awareness may be, but is there some place where it is? Or is there some edge to where it ends? Let's take a look. Let's close our eyes, get into this state, just awareness, nothingness, no thought, silence. So there's nothing to be aware of. There's nothing to be conscious of. There is no thought. And I'll keep saying this, if you're still having thoughts, just become aware of what your next thought is going to be. Wait for it. Now you're aware, and the quality of being aware is the awareness we're talking about. Does awareness have a location? So, what I want you to do is have a look. Is awareness somewhere? No, it cannot be, and we'll see why. So, we can't say that awareness is here or there. It has no location. So to answer the first question, does awareness have a location? No. Now let's take a look. Does it have an edge somewhere? Does it end somewhere? Is there any place where it ends and something else begins? you'll find there is no edge, there is no circumference, there is no perimeter, there is no shape, no size, no form. So it has no boundary. We are seeing this practically in our experiential way right now. So the question is, does awareness have a location or a boundary? No to both. Now let's take a look at why it has no location or boundary. These are things which are important because the mind cannot understand that which has no location. It cannot understand that which has no boundary. It cannot understand that which is not a thought, which is not a thing, and which is not located somewhere in time and space. So it cannot understand that, and doubts and confusion will keep arising in the mind until we get rid of, or we get clarity of why awareness has no location or boundary. Now, it's just awareness. Let us consciously bring in thoughts. We'll take simple things. So I want you to imagine an apple. You have a red apple with a stalk and a little leaf in a fruit bowl on your kitchen table that has a checkered tablecloth, and you are seated at the table. At your home right now. Now we've brought in a conscious thought. Red apple, stalk, leaf, fruit bowl, checkered tablecloth. In your kitchen, you seated at the table. In your home. Now let's take a look at these thoughts. Apple. Automatically you had a vision or an image of an apple, red apple in your mind. You could see the edges of the apple. We added a stalk, you could see the edge of the stalk located at the top of the apple, and from the stalk a little leaf. The leaf is located on the stalk is located on the top of the apple is located in the fruit bowl. The fruit bowl is placed on the table that has a checkered tablecloth, and you are seated at the table in your home. Let's see the location. Number one, the location of all of this thought, visualization, is your home. Go deeper, it is at the kitchen table, in your kitchen. We go deeper, it is you seated at the table, in front of you, on the table. These are all locations we're talking about. On the table. is a fruit bowl. That's a location. Within it, there are many fruits, and there is one apple which is red in color. It is in the fruit bowl, location. It has a stalk, location. That has a leaf, location. So you see the location right from, we started with a blank mind, in came, we started with the apple into, we moved outwards, but now we can zoom in. So we had a blank mind, and what we imagined are objects starting from your home, kitchen, seated at the kitchen table, checkered tablecloth, fruit bowl on the table, in that red apple with a stalk and a leaf. Now you know the location of all these objects. Where are all of them? In your home. Where are you? In the kitchen. Where in the kitchen? At the table. Seated at the table. What is on the table? Checkered tablecloth. What is on top of that? A fruit bowl. What is in the fruit bowl? Fruits. Which one did you see? The red apple. What does it have? A stalk with a little leaf. So we've zoomed in from awareness, nothingness, into your home, into your kitchen, on your chair, in front of the kitchen table, from the tablecloth to the fruit bowl, to the fruit, to the stalk and the leaf. All located somewhere. Now it'll be very easy to see the boundaries of all these things. So you know the boundary of your home. You know where your home starts from and where it ends. Inside that is your kitchen. You know where your kitchen starts and ends. You can see the boundary. In that, you have your kitchen table that occupies a small space. You can see the boundary. You are seated at the table. You occupy a certain amount of area. There's a boundary. There's an edge. On top of the table is a tablecloth that occupies again a certain amount of space. It has an edge. It has a boundary. On top of that table and the tablecloth is a fruit basket that has an edge, has a boundary. And in that, among many fruits, is an apple that has an edge, has a boundary, which has a little stalk that has an edge, it has a boundary, with a little leaf, with the edge and the boundary. So everything in the mind is located somewhere and has a boundary. Every thought is about something located somewhere that has an edge, has a boundary. So if there are things in the physical world, in the real relative world, everything is located somewhere in space. It is within space. And it has a certain form. It has an edge. It has a boundary. It has a perimeter. Without a thing, without a thought, Awareness has no location, has no boundary. All boundaries and all locations appear within awareness. Does awareness have a boundary where it ends somewhere? No. How is it that awareness has no boundary, and yet so many boundaries and edges and locations exist within it? We take the ocean again. So the ocean, like we said, all the waves in the ocean are within the ocean, but the ocean is not another kind of wave. So the ocean has no boundary in terms of the waves. Every wave is either here or there in the ocean. Let's say it rains heavily and more water fills up in the ocean. The ocean simply expands. For some wave to exist in the ocean, it must be somewhere in the ocean. It would have a location in the ocean. It would have a boundary in the ocean. Without the wave, the ocean is just what it is. Let's bring this to awareness. Awareness is what it is. Thoughts and things, when experienced, can expand. You must have heard of nothingness and nothingness expanding. So, thoughts and things can expand your awareness, but awareness has no boundary, it has no location. Location requires an object. Location requires a thought. So we spoke about this in the previous videos. These three arise simultaneously: a thing, a thought, and the mind. You can't have one without the other two. So if you have a thought, it must be about a thing. Now, thing could be anything. It could be like an experience. It could be an emotion. It's a thing, as in an object. You can't have a thought without a thing. A thought is always about something, and a thing cannot be known without its thought in the mind. Mind is required for things and thoughts, and three of them appear together. Without things and thoughts in the mind, there is no mind. The mind is only inferred when a thought appears. Oh, there is something in which thoughts appear. That itself is not a thought. So to answer the question, does awareness have a location or a boundary? No. It is that in which all locations and boundaries arise, appear, and disappear or subside. It itself is not located somewhere. It has no end, it has no edge. It includes all forms, all sizes, all shapes, all edges and all boundaries and all locations. You can open your eyes now and awareness has no location, it has no edge, it has no boundary. Yet it includes all edges, all locations, and all boundaries. The reason being, for an edge or a location, it must be an object. All objects have locations and boundaries. All thoughts have locations and boundaries. Awareness is neither, and yet not apart from the things and thoughts. Because thoughts arise and subside, things appear and disappear. That which appears is not real, and what is real never appears. So consciousness, awareness that is real, never changes, never becomes, but it appears. So the names, the forms, the locations, the boundaries, all appear. They are appearances. They come and they go. Thoughts come and go. None of them are real. Without consciousness, without awareness, no thoughts, no things. Let's have a look at what the next question is. Okay, so does awareness change when the experience changes? Let's understand the question first. Does awareness change? When we talk about change, there are only three kinds of changes that happen to everything in the universe. It changes in time, it changes in space, location, and it changes its form. That's all that happens. So, does awareness change? Does it move in time, space, or transform from one thing to another? Does awareness change when the experience changes? Now, there are three kinds of experience that we can have as human beings. We have emotional experience, we have intellectual experience, and we have physical experience. That means we feel, we think and know, and we do. And the reverse is also true. I don't feel, I don't know, I don't think, and I don't do. So, when experience of emotions, thoughts, and actions, when that changes, now here the questioner is talking about the experience of a human being, or the seeker is talking about his or her experience. When my experience changes of life, when my feelings, my emotions, my thoughts, my understanding, and my body actions, when those change, does awareness change as well? That's the question. Let's do this again. You've got to experientially know this. Otherwise, I can talk and give you more and more words, but this is where we are stabilizing awareness into your life, my life, so that these kind of questions don't bother the mind, don't bother the human being that you have. Let's do this. One more time. Does awareness change when experience changes? Let's take a look. Awareness. Drop all thoughts. Nothing in the mind, no image of something, no chatter of the voice in the head, no sound, no image, no thought, no thing. Just what is. And if you're still having thoughts, still having problems with thoughts appearing, Become aware of what your next thought is going to be. Wait for your next thought and see it for what it is going to be. And you find it stops. Now, in this awareness, do not let go of that being aware in case you still have thoughts coming up. Thoughts can only appear when you are unconscious of them. When you become conscious of thoughts, they can't appear, they stop. So, awareness, nothingness, emptiness, consciousness. Just what is. We are looking in this awareness to see if it changes in any way. Do not use the mind, do not think of where it is and how it is, what it looks like. You can even do that as well. But we are looking for this stable awareness, nothingness. Let's become aware of it and see whether it changes. Is it moving in time? Is it moving in location? Is it transforming into something else? You'll find that it's neither located in some place, it's neither within time, and neither does it transform from one thing to another. So number one, what we want to see here is that awareness or consciousness, nothingness, emptiness, whatever we call it, is changeless. It does not change in any way, shape or form. It doesn't change its location. There is no location. So it's not that it moves from one place to another. It does not change in time. It's not like it just came and will go away. It does not change itself from what it is to something else. It just remains as it is. So awareness is changeless, does not change. Now the question is, does awareness change when experience changes? And we'll take the same example so that we're on the same page. We are, or you are, in your home, in your kitchen, at the kitchen table, with a checkered tablecloth, with a fruit basket, and a red apple with a stalk and a leaf. That's what we have in the mind right now. That's the scene. Let's do something now in this scene. You pick up the red apple. You bite it. You hear the crunch. You feel the juice splashing in your mouth. You taste the apple. You crunch it, you chew it, you swallow it. Tastes lovely. You stand up with the apple still in one hand. With the other hand, you pick up the fruit bowl. You walk into your living room. You sit on the couch or a chair. And you put the fruit basket next to you. You pick up the remote of the TV and switch it on. From the blank screen, an image appears. You can switch the channels from news to comedy, sitcom, music. Let's switch them one by one. News, change, comedy, change, daily soaps, change, music. You found a song that you like and you leave it there. You can have another bite of the apple. In fact, have 2-3 bites, finish the apple, and put the seeds and the stalk and the remaining center bit that you didn't eat, put it on the side, on a tissue paper if you like. Now, let's bring now awareness back into this and see what experience is and whether awareness changes when experience changes. So what we did right now is we experienced something. Kitchen, table, fruit basket, apple. We started off with that, but now you picked up the apple, you crunched it, you took a bite, you tasted the apple. Have a look. Did awareness change? Or did it remain the same? When you picked up the apple and took a bite and crunched and the juice splashed in your mouth, it made that sound, that was an experience. Does awareness change with it? No. Awareness still remains as it is. You woke up from the table. You picked up the fruit ball and you walked into the living room. You changed location. You sat on the couch, put the fruit basket beside you. The fruit basket changed location. You had the experience of walking. You sat on the couch. You had the experience of sitting down. You flipped on the TV. You had the experience of holding the remote and switching on the TV. You had the experience of seeing what was coming on the news, daily soap, comedy, sitcom, music. You had the experience of listening to your favorite song. At what point did awareness change in any way? Awareness stays as it is. Now you could wake up from the sofa and open the door and go out, get on the bus and go to your local market, do some shopping. Imagine yourself doing it in time lapse. You quickly put on your raincoat, opened the door, walked out, locked the door, got into your car or got on the bus, went to the marketplace, picked up some vegetables, did some shopping, met some people, had a bite at the local coffee shop, made some conversation with the owner. It got dark. You picked up your shopping bags, got on the bus again, got in your car, drove back home. Time has passed. You open the door, you come back in, sit on the couch, switch on the TV, pick up another fruit from the fruit basket and eat it. Now, in all this experience, at what point or when did awareness change? You'll find that in all these places that you went, it was still there as it is. In all these locations, it was still there as it is. In all the time that passed in this little imagination, it was still there as it is. Things changed. You ate the apple, you crunched it, it changed from the form that it was into the juice. The fruit that it was became the juice. You crushed that into pulp, you swallowed it. They changed form. Awareness remains as it is. There is no point. In fact, even the point would have to be within awareness. Awareness is that in which all experience arises and subsides, appears and disappears, comes and goes. Awareness is untouched. In fact, without awareness, no experience. Without the screen on your television, no daily soap, no news, no music channel, no sitcom. Without that screen, the news appears on TV, the sitcom appears on the screen, the music video appears on the screen. Without the screen, none of them would appear. Without awareness, no experience of any sort. Now again, keep in mind the words I'm using, and you must have heard them from so many places. Appearances. That which appears is not real. And that which is real need not appear. So the television screen does not try to appear to be the news reader. It doesn't try to appear to be your favorite singer in the music video. Yet it's the screen that appears as the singer, as the news reader, as the actors. But when you're looking at the screen, at your favorite channel, at the music video, you are looking at nothing but the screen, appearing as the newsreader or your favorite singer. In reality, it's nothing but the screen. In reality, all your experience is on the blank canvas, the blank screen of awareness or consciousness. Whatever this human being is going through is appearing on the screen of consciousness, awareness. Awareness is not appearing. Awareness just is what it is. The screen of the TV is what it is. The reality of all the channels is the screen. The reality of all experiences is awareness or consciousness. You can open your eyes now, gradually. You can open. You can look down if you will, as you slowly open them. Nididhyasana videos are a little heavy, like that. We are stabilizing awareness. We are realizing ourselves to be the screen on which all experiences that this human being goes through appear. They are not real. They appear. Does awareness change when experience changes? No. Does silence change when we talk? No. Does consciousness change when we think? No. Awareness, consciousness is that in which all experiences appear and disappear, come and go, arise and subside. They appear and disappear. This silence, this awareness, is so much more powerful than anything that you ever experience. The screen of the TV is more powerful than anything that appears on it. In fact, it's just nothing but the screen. Whatever we watch, whatever we see, whatever we experience is nothing but awareness. So, remain in this awareness for as long as you can until it becomes the ground of all your experience. Go out and experience life. Let the human being experience all the ups and downs, the happiness and the sadness, everything that life has to offer, the good and the bad. Experience it knowing that you are not it and it is not real. You are the character playing that particular person in that home, wherever you are. So make this silence awareness the ground of all your experience, because it is. Just recognize it and keep recognizing it again and again whenever you can, until you don't need to do that anymore. We'll leave it at this.